pearls of wisdom on Jason Kidd and Steve Nash going in the Hall of Fame and what they mean to contemporary point guards?
Well, um, I had an opportunity to play against both of those guys, and had an opportunity to watch both of those guys before I got into pros. You know, Steve kind of changed the game to what the game is now with the up tempo and with the Phoenix stuff. And Jason Kidd was one of the most creative passers. More excited, he got more excited when his guys dunked the ball than they did. And they're two of the point guards that kind of changed the game as facilitators and as shooters.
Steve, I mean, I don't know if he was the first guy, but one thing I think of him is just keeping that dribble alive. I guess midgeting and
a lot of people call it nashing it, midgeting, keeping his dribble alive. I think he was one of the things where he was, not as athletic, but he could get around you, and he knew once he got in the paint, he got everybody to collapse and then kicked out. I'm sure all his teammates loved playing with him when he started to just play basketball, kicking out, and one of the best playmakers there have been.
We know as a team you guys approach as the next game is the most important, but just knowing that the next 3 games are against teams that are also very close in standings, does it take on extra significance?
Nah. They're 2 teams that we're competing against. Boston, we know what they're right behind us in the standings. Cleveland's behind us in the standings. But for us, we got to continue to just get better. We can't worry about this, that, and the other. We know what we have at stake, and we got to continue to just go at hand and continue on the journey.
Some of these last few years, you guys have sort of been locked into a spot around this time of the year. Does it help going to the playoffs, knowing that you've got Boston that's pushing you, you've got some bigger games coming up? Is that a good thing going to the playoffs to get you?
I think just being able to be out there and competing and going out there and playing minutes and not resting and just having fun and still staying in the rhythm. I think that's the most important thing is in that situation. These teams are still playing for something, everyone's playing for something, so the competitive nature of everyone to kind of keep playing is going to be big for us.
This year, before the year, there was so much talk about it was just going to be Cleveland Golden State final, and it may end up that way, but it's kind of an unpredictable year for a lot of teams around the NBA.
I think that's the one thing about the NBA is kind of, it's been unpredictable, and you never know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, right now, the Warriors being beat up a little bit, they'll be healthy for the playoffs. Cleveland making mass changes, and us changing our offense, Boston doing stuff. It is pretty cool about the NBA that things can happen like that.
The night of the East this year, you have so many of those 5 through 8 teams. Really exciting and fun to watch. Washington when they get John back, it's far more interesting.
It's fun, man. This league has been fun, man. Like I said, as a fan of basketball, I always like to watch and have fun and enjoy the games. But I still worry about my team first and foremost and only. But just as a fan of the game, love watching what's going on around the NBA in general.
Why do you think Boston's been so good in close games? They seem to.
Coach Brad Stevens is awesome. I think they got some great young, level-headed, talented players. Jalen Brown is awesome. Tatum is really, really, really good. Al Horford's a seasoned veteran, and Terry Rozier is really talented. He can play basketball. Those guys are really good, and they've been in these situations before.
A lot.
They've been a lot.
And once you have success in it, it sort of breeds it.
905 got a playoff game coming up.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. But like with Boston, once you get success in those last 5 seconds, the next one becomes a little bit easier?
I think every type of situation is not as easy. It's still a tougher situation. It's still, you got to make the shot and make the plays.
Did you notice a difference between your young guys after they got back from their time with 905, especially after the championship?
I think the young guys that did that the last couple of years, they took their assignments very well. They went down there, did their jobs, competed, controlled. They showed they weren't, they were better to belong with us, and I think that was big for them. And I think that's one thing our G League has helped those guys do is further themselves in their career and faster, have them come up and be ready to go faster.
You spent a year with Stackhouse as an assistant here. I presume you watched him when he played in Philly. What do you think of his career arc?
Stack has a very interesting career. I mean, people don't know he led the league in scoring one year, and he's all-stars, and he's done some things. And I think him being a coach, being able to transition, it's been awesome. But I think he's done it at the high school level. He did it at the college level. He did it at the pro level. And Stack's, to me, he's one of the best, players at his position to play the game.
And to be able to translate that into coaching and player development coaching, not necessarily NBA coaching.
Sees the game differently. Sees the game from a player's perspective sometimes, and as a coach, I think to have that balance is pretty cool.
Drawing on your experience of how you feel at this time of year from previous years, do you change anything going down the stretch this year to remain fresh?
No, I mean, I've still been working and getting more workouts in. My minutes have gone up a little bit more. Hopefully we can come back down, the last couple games. But, I'm comfortable around that 32-minute mark. And, if we got to build it up to 36, 37, then we do it. But, I would like to keep it down until, playoff time comes.
Is it a shock to the system if you all of a sudden got to play 42,
I think
44?
so. I think so. But I think Coach is kind of doing it. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or what, but my minutes have been ramping up. And, listen, I love playing basketball. I love being on the floor. At the same time, we got a rhythm with what we got, and, we'll figure it out as it goes.